we are, I think, at the end of our debate, and now you are invited to come in with your questions, your interests, your point of discussion, of course. We can discuss everything, and everything is welcome. There is a microphone that is coming down together with Peter. And we go for the first question.
Hello, Katie Lubin, European Studies. Thank you, Mr. Professor. Professor Malford, a lot told today about your package. When you said that you were there when Gorbatsjev did all this stuff, what did you mean? Were you in Moscow? Because I'm from post-Soviet, I can show you my passport. I was born in Soviet Union. I'm from Azerbaijan. I'm really surprised that none of you mentioned the fact that before coming Gorbachev, actually he wasn't elected, and he was appointed, probably you know by whom. There was the chain of funerals by Chernenko, Andropov. Yes, it's good that you know about it, but you didn't mention it. So it was a period of stagnation. Yeah, of course. And you also didn't mention the fact that Gorbachev was doing his best to keep his power. He did this strategy in Vilnius, then he did in Tbilisi, and finally in Baku in 1990 when he moved the so-called Red Army. And people didn't believe that this army will kill them. They stand in front of the tanks, they stand in front of all these armed people, and they were not regular soldiers, they were from Alpha Group. It's specialized group. So Gorbachev is not like peaceful person. And I wouldn't say that it was Gorbachev's policy, it was the policy of Raisa Maximovna. Probably you know about her. And Gorbachev actually was called in post-Soviet like Mishka Konvertik. I will translate. It's called Mishka, it's like, he's Mikhail, briefly Mishka, like calling pet. And Konvertik, it's envelope, because he was taking bribes even from Japanese people that he will give back their lands in Kuril. They took money from China. Everyone knew about it. And he had this Sukhoy Zakon, you know about it, about vodka, when people were striking. Why did he do it? He was trying to make, and actually it wasn't perestroika, it was Perilomka. I will explain what's Perilomka. When your brains are crashing, 70 years you had one regime, and finally someone is coming from nowhere and saying, actually he was from KGB, and he says, oh, now you can speak. And people didn't know what to speak about and why they should speak. That's why everyone began to speak. It was like, frogs, frogs in the lake. You are dropping the stone and they are quack, 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 and everyone is listening to each other. It was not classless, it was anarchy. And Gorbachev, what's about Berlin Wall, it wasn't like spontaneous, oh, let's crash it. No, it was well organized. Before it, I told you, we have Brezhnev, then we have Chernenko, then we have Andropov. So all this period of stagnation. When it comes to Hungary, Mr. Borkos, you said that, oh, there wasn't even the need on socialist, blah, blah, blah. It's okay, maybe you didn't have it. But in our history, it was that you were occupied by fascists, and my grandfather went there in order to give liberty to the same.
We can't have the whole history of
course, because
of
course, I mean, it's my viewpoint as post-Soviet person. Of course, I changed my mentality. We suffered a lot more than anyone in Europe. But my grandfather went to Europe to give liberty to the so-called later Warsaw Pact countries. So why Soviet Union, after giving liberty, should give it to the Western countries? They kept them for themselves. Mm-hmm. And after collapse, here you are, you're in European Union, and you are not happy again.
What is your question?
My question is, how do you view the future for Hungary? Because you are from Hungary, you cannot speak for the whole Europe because there are so many voices. It's not in one voice, really. For me, it's not one voice. I think so. It's like an orchestra. You have soprano, you have alt, someone has got loud voice, low voice, but it's good if it's symphony. If it's symphony, it will be Europe, safe Europe. But if someone is singing louder than the other, it will not be symphony. So how do you view the future of Hungary? And Hungary, past Soviet, as you said, some people really think that it was better. Yeah, it's like in our country, you know, when they cannot manage, do everything by themselves, they say, oh, it was good, someone decided instead of us, and we just went and obeyed. So, what democracy brought to Hungary?
I never said that I'm unhappy with the European Union. I said there are people who are unhappy with the European Union. I, for one, is one of the most ardent and fervent supporter of the European Union, because I feel that the European Union, the European structures, if you will, beyond what is formally the European Union, helped Hungary to progress very much. At the same time, I really feel that from global point of view, the European Union is losing its own competitiveness. So when I am fighting for reforms and renewal within the European Parliament and in every forum which is available to me, then I highlight the fact that maybe from the strictly speaking Hungarian perspective, the European Union is a very important step into modernization. We heard that some of the Western countries, and rightfully so, have become very complacent about the living standard, welfare, and work ethics, and many other things which just prevail in Western society. And it's important to renew our thinking in the 21st century, because otherwise we may fall behind. So when I'm talking about unhappiness and expectations, it's not because I'm unhappy with what we have achieved, but of course I see many opportunities which we can use for the future, important for the improvement of the European structures. That's all I wanted to say.
I would also like to react just on your first comment, because this was prior to your question. Of course, we did not raise everything, but I don't agree with Vilnius and Riga, which were, after all, only 13 and 5 deaths. Gorbatsjev very quickly stopped this. We didn't touch upon everything, but neither did you. And it's, for instance, striking that we haven't mentioned Nagorno-Karabakh yet, which started in 1988, and the fact that the problem of ethnic conflict also laid at the base of the fall of the Soviet bloc and the Soviet Union. But we can't do everything right now.
Of course not.